I'm going to read 1 Kings 17, 2 through 9, well, pretty much 2 through 24. In this season, God has given his children instructions because he is setting up encounters for his children that are ready, like those that will do whatever it is that he asks them to do, because there's encounter that's needed. Ask yourself, are you ready for the encounter? God then told Elijah, get out of here and fast. Head east and hide out at the Kerith Raven on the other side of the Jordan River. You drink fresh water from the brook. I've ordered the ravens to feed you. Elijah obeyed God's orders. He went and camped in Kerith Canyon on the other side of the Jordan, and sure enough, ravens brought him his meals, both breakfast and supper, and he drank from the brook. Eventually, the brook dried up because of the drought. Then God spoke to him, get up and go to Zarephath and Sidon and live there. I've instructed a woman who lives there, a widow, to feed you. So he got up and he went to Zarephath. As he came to the entrance of the village, he met a woman, a widow, gathering firewood. He asked her, please, would you bring me a little water in a jug? I need a drink. As she went to get it, he called out, and while you're at it, would you bring me something to eat? She said, I swear as surely as your God lives, I don't have so much as a biscuit. I have a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a bottle. You found me scratching together just enough firewood to make a last meal for my son and me. After we eat it, we'll die. Elijah said to her, don't worry about a thing. Go ahead and do what you said, but first make a small biscuit for me and bring it back here. Then go ahead and make a meal from what's left for you and your son. This is the word of the God of Israel. The jar of flour will not run out, and the bottle of oil will not become empty before God sends rain on the land and ends this drought. And she went right off and did just as Elijah asked, and it turned out as he said. Daily food for her and her family. The jar of meal didn't run out, and the bottle of oil didn't become empty. God's promise fulfilled to the letter, exactly as Elijah had delivered it. Later on, the woman's son became sick. The sickness took a turn for the worse, and then he stopped breathing. The woman said to Elijah, why did you ever show up here in the first place? A holy man barging in, exposing my sins and killing my son? Elijah said, hand me your son. He then took him from her bosom, carried him up to the loft where he was staying, and laid him on the bed. Then he prayed, oh God, my God, why have you brought this terrible thing on this widow who opened her home to me? Why have you killed her son? 3 times he stretched himself out full length on the boy, praying with all his might, God, my God, put breath back into this boy's body. God listened to Elijah's prayers and put breath back into his body. He was alive. Elijah picked up the boy, carried him downstairs from the loft, and gave him to his mother. Here's your son, said Elijah, alive. The woman said to Elijah, I see it all now. You are a holy man. When you speak, God speaks a true word. Are you ready for your encounter? Are you ready for your encounter? And it is time to be truthful with you. I'm going to read y'all my notes. God is giving instructions. Get out of there and fast. Go to the other side of town. I'll supply all your needs. So if you go on the east side, it's time that you go on the west side. It's time that you go in the Midwest. It's time that you go wherever God is telling you to go. Obey God no matter what, because we don't know what's to come. And when we walk with God long enough, we know he will supply all of our needs. We won't lack for anything. God is bringing judgment to places and drying up the lands. So go where God is showing us to go. Even if we're unsure, keep asking God, because he will direct our steps. When God has us encountering people, it may not always be comfortable, especially when they already may be spiritually dead or in a dark place. But we as God's children must do what God instructs us to do. We may not always understand, but God has divine appointments set up so we can be where he needs us for those who need him. A woman was already speaking death over her and her son because of her circumstances of not having enough. So God uses Elijah to cross paths with her, and he asks her for food and water. Instead of yes or no, she gave her excuses of not having enough and how they will die, not knowing God sent someone who could change her circumstances around and bring back hope and joy. Once she did as she asked, she seen how now she went from nothing to overflow. but eventually became a problem, and she became angry and upset, wishing she didn't help him, and how it caused her son to die. But she failed to realize she prophesied that over her life because of what her circumstances was looking like. So how are you speaking when problems arise and the storm is getting worse and not better? But again, she not realizing how God is working in the midst of it all, or the child of God in front of her, Prophet Elijah plead and beg God to bring him back to life, even laying his body over the boy, stretching himself, praying with all his might. God, on why would you do this when they helped me? God heard, and he brought the boy back to life, and brought back to life, put breath back in his body. And then he took the boy back to his mother and said, "Here's your boy alive." The woman said, "Now I see it all. Now you are a holy man. When you speak, God speaks a true word." Some people are so spiritually dead that they can't see what's in front of them. So it takes God setting up an encounter, allowing things to happen to open up the eyes of his children. So many people have been hurt, ready to give up, settle for less, accept the hands they've been dealt. But God has a setup coming. You cannot stay there. Speak life over your situation. God's not done yet. Get out that grave. The devil will not keep you stuck. It's time that you get out of the grave. It's time that you speak life over yourself. I don't care what it's looking like. You're about to have an encounter, because God's not going to have you give up on you. I don't care what your circumstances look like. I don't care what you've been through. This is not the end of you. And what you prophesy over yourself through the storms, or I'm not going to make it, it's not going to happen, I'm going to die. Some things we bring upon ourselves because of what we are speaking over it. Things aren't happening because we keep speaking negative, we keep speaking doubt. So in this season right here, we got to speak life over our circumstances and watch how things change. When you speak life and not death, and when things happen that you speak out of your mouth, you cannot blame somebody else when they came to help. Some people are so spiritually dead that God is sending his children to wake them up, to show them. And it may take time and for God to say, "I need my child to back away," for them to see. It's going to take life experiences, but we don't have to, like Pastor Mike's teaching about force multipliers. There's situations that God is forcing, encounters that God is forcing, like I'm putting a stop to it, because see, the devil is going too far, touching my children and keeping them bound and stuck in their trauma and their bondage and their foolishness. And enough is enough. God is like, enough is enough. Micah 2, God is saying enough is enough. So it's time that God is about to. Are you ready for your Elijah encounter? That's all I got. Are you ready for your Elijah encounter? Because what she didn't know that was a man of God. What you don't know that God is sending his children, a man of God, a true child of God, your way. God is sending someone that is of him, that has a heart of him, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what you've been through, so you can see and open up your eyes. And it took a drastic situation with her son dying in order for her to realize, I see now. It's going to take drastic situations for people that God is putting you in for them to see who you really are. It's time that God's children wake up. Wake up. I'm sending my people, but will you wake up or will you stay stuck? It's up to you. She decided that she woke up. She's like, "Oh, I see it now." Yes, I was complaining at first because I didn't understand. I was complaining at first because I was confused. I was complaining at first because, see, I tried God, but see, things wasn't working out the way that it panned out to. So I gave up on my circumstances, my situation. I'm done with everything. And God said, before I let you give up on you, I'm coming after you, because I would rather lose everything else, and I can't lose you. I can't lose you. You're God's prized possession. You're his everything. So are you ready for your Elijah encounter? And for every person that God is going to use, can you listen to God? Can you sit with him so he can give you instructions for a moment? Can you silence everything? Can you get out of where God is putting you at? Because if you stay too long in places, you won't be able to be used by God the way that he wants to use you. If you decide to say, "No, I need you to get up out of there. I need you to fast. I need you to pray. I need you to seek me in this season, because I have instructions for the encounter that you're about to pawn." Because see, while people don't even understand, God wants to use you in places, but you're also there so somebody else can see you're a blessing. Listen, both parties is getting blessed. It's not just one-sided. Somebody's going to meet God, but they're going to also bless you. They have something that you need, and you have something that they want. So it's time that people see God in us and not flesh. So are you ready for the encounter that God has? Get up. You can't stay there. It's time to get out of the grave, because God got something on your life. God got something on your life that the devil is like, "Nah, I like them comfortable, and I got to keep them there." See, if they realize who they are, they will not change. They will not become who God's called them to be. So I got to put everything around them that's going to surround them and keep them in sin, keep them bound, and they change. But God said, enough is enough. I'm coming after you. Will you allow God to come after you? In this season, I don't care what it's looking like. Speak life, not death, over your circumstances and your situation, because God is coming for you.